You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday, happy Mercury Day, and happy birthday to some famous Leos, including Maya Rudolph, Jordan Spieth, Alex Rodriguez is a Leo. Very interesting that J-Lo, it feels like she exclusively dates or gets married to Leos. Taylor Schilling has a birthday today. Winnie Harlow. Anyone else? Ryan Tannehill. None of the, well, A-Rod. A-Rod's probably the biggest name that's a Leo today. Let me know if you're a Leo, if someone you know is celebrating a birthday so we can celebrate them too. Good morning to you too, Rose. So how is everyone feeling first and foremost before we dive into the forecast? It's the last day of this moon cycle. Tomorrow is the new moon in Leo. Jupiter stations retrograde tomorrow. We have some powerful connections the new moon is making and some other aspects playing out in the background. Just in general right now, it's intense. There's a lot of intensity. The Mars-Uranus North Node conjunction is coming closer and closer, and things are being shaken up and changing. So I would love to know how today's energy is feeling for you so far. Of course, the sun is in Leo. The moon makes its final connections in Cancer today, before moving into Leo late tonight, preparing for that new moon tomorrow. We're going to talk about two major connections that the planets are making today, and then those final connections the moon is making in Cancer. Feeling really drained right now and overwhelmed, still foggy. I'm right there with you, Rachel, and it's important to note that this new moon is going to be probably in our 12th house, so just Leo season in general, it's going to be a little bit more low-key for us, but our time is coming. Our time is coming. And with the moon's cycle where it is at this point too, a lot of people are probably feeling that. I've just been trying to slow down, take advantage of the introspective energy of this dark moon right now and not push myself too hard. In fact, I realized right before I went live that there's a typo in like all the descriptions of everything for today. And you know what? That's okay. This is the moon's phase where we surrender, we let go, we let it be, wipe the slate clean, clear things out emotionally, physically, so that we can start off on the right foot under the new moon. Hi, Diane. Ooh, feels explosive today. Tense energy with people, short fuses. Yeah, the energy definitely plays into that too. We have a conjunction between Venus and Lilith. And we have a connection with Chiron today, Mercury Trine Chiron. So two of these points and asteroids in our solar system that are known for tension, for being triggered. Also, the moon is opposing Pluto tonight. So yeah, if there's tension going on, I will also note, if you watched yesterday, we talked about Mercury squaring off to Mars, bringing a lot about aggression, tension, and communication. We're still feeling that aspect today as well. So yeah, I feel that kind of push-pull between being explosive and being drained. That's a great way of putting it. More energy than expected this morning. That's great. We got this. Just have to stay grounded, slowing down, being patient and gentle with myself. Amazing. So let's take a look at what's going on the chart. And we'll jump into our first connection, Venus forming a conjunction to Lilith. You can see at this very moment, both Venus and Lilith are at 11 degrees in Cancer. Of course, Venus being the planet of love, beauty, money, our attraction, our desires, our values, the physical things that we crave in this world. And Lilith is very much associated with our sexual energy, with our need to feel desire, to feel pleasure, to rise up, to not be controlled. So in general, when Venus and Lilith are conjunct like this, give yourself pleasure. Your truest desires are likely coming up for you right now, especially with Venus and Lilith conjunct in Cancer, which rules the body. It could be powerful emotions surfacing. It could be bodily urges coming up. But really, this conjunction is asking, what are your truest desires and how can you fulfill them? How can you give them to yourself? Even if it's just in the short term, how can you make your body feel pleasure? And it could feel like an overwhelming urge to feel pleasure. But at the same time, it might show us where our power center lies, right? Lilith is a very powerful energy. So yes, we might be feeling this urge, this craving to feel good, to feel pleasure. But when that comes up, really trace it back to the source and be like, ooh, where's this powerful urge coming from? Where's my power center? Because I really see Lilith as that part of us internally that's like, I am powerful and I'm going to stand up for what I want and for what I need. So when those urges come up, it's your body, especially with this happening in Cancer, it's your body telling you, hey, like, we're a powerful being here and we know what signals to send, we as in our body, we know what signals to send to make sure our needs get met. We really just want to feel good in our own skin and on our own terms with Lilith being here. I'll also point out that Venus and Lilith conjunct in Cancer can bring a highly intuitive energy, a highly creative energy, and giving yourself some sexual pleasure can help you tap into that creativity and that intuition. Our sacral chakra, our womb space, that is where creativity is born, especially under this dark moon. So like really leaning into the darkness. Venus and Lilith are helping us do that, going within. There are a lot of creative, sultry, sexual things that are associated with the darkness, right? So what desires can be found there? What can be born out of this place of desire? And this is something to really reflect on and lean into under this dark moon, because it can show us maybe a clearer view of what intentions we want to set under the new moon tomorrow. This is just a time to tune into those true, deep desires, whether it's through self-love and self-pleasure or claiming your desires with a partner or with a friend or the people around you and getting pleasure from other people too. But you got to know what you want and be willing to stand up for it. And Venus and Lilith are helping us do that. Hi, Bailey. First day morning jogging felt too good and easy. I love that. I love that we're talking about Venus and Lilith too. It doesn't necessarily have to be that this is coming out between the sheets. It's, your body being like, what do I really want? What do I really desire? And for you, it sounds like, Fern, your body was feeling good, moving that energy through you, This is all about that Cancer energy, tuning into our body's desires. What does our body need? So that's the first major connection that's happening today, and that was exact at 7:45 this morning, but of course we'll feel it all day. Mercury is also harmonizing with Chiron as we speak. So you can see on the chart, Mercury in Leo at 16 degrees, Chiron and Aries at 16 degrees, both of them in fire signs. So let's just take a moment to refresh ourselves on fire energy. Fire energy is explosive, it's hot, it's passionate, and there could be passionate conversations or even self-reflections today with Mercury in Leo that help us on our healing journey. A trine, this nice 120-degree balanced angle with the two planets or bodies both in the same element, they work together very easily, almost too easily sometimes. So it could be that you're trying to have a light, fun conversation and some big healing realization comes out of it. Embrace that. That's okay. Whatever is supposed to come up is going to come up. But know that also you sharing what's on your heart, what you're passionate about, your own healing journey could spark something in someone else too. So really just tap into that authenticity in the conversations you're having with others, you're having with yourself. Tap into the courage of Mercury in Leo, and don't be afraid to speak up and share something that maybe is a little bit more vulnerable or you're not sure how it's going to land. But if it's true and authentic to you, don't be afraid to be bold in conversation and share what's on your heart, because you never know how it could land for someone else and what it could unlock for someone else. And not even for someone else, but sometimes, I don't know if you've ever had these experiences, but if you're in conversation and you're kind of caught up in it and you catch yourself like, oh, am I saying too much? I'm just like authentically letting it come out. That can be a really healing moment too, of a self-realization, self-actualization. So Mercury ruling our mindset, our communication, harmonizing with Chiron, the wounded healer, representing our deepest wounds and our ability to heal ourselves and then heal other people with those same skills. So it could be a new healing modality easily enters your awareness today through conversation, through reading, through communication. It could be that the conversation itself is healing, but just stay open to healing and really stay true to yourself and your own authenticity, and know that if it feels like, am I being too much for other people when you're sharing these things, then those aren't your people, but it's often when we're willing to put ourselves out there that we have the biggest impact on other people and on ourselves. Hyping up Fern in the comments. Been thinking about getting back into daily walks. You've inspired me to get my exercise back on. This is exactly what we're talking about. Fern was like, I'm going to share what's on my heart right now. And then it inspired someone else in the comments to do something that might be healing for Rose. So a great example of what we were just saying. And as Diane is bringing up, talking about your healing, talking about your wounds can come through very easily today as well. Diane says, had a lot of talk about wounds last night with my fiance, things that have been triggering us, very healing combo. Beautiful, beautiful. And Chiron can provoke our triggers, especially when we're talking about that fire energy, right? It can be a little too hot sometimes, but just staying true to your original intention, staying tapped into your heart space, being willing to hold space for other people to work through triggers can be so healing and so beautiful. And I know you're all capable of it and aware of it because you're here and you already have so much awareness. It is important to remember, in the background, we still have Mercury and Mars squaring off. Mercury at 16 degrees, Mars at 15 degrees. So they're pulling away from that square, but the conversations we're having could be triggering, could get a little aggressive or overly bold, overly direct, overly intense at points. Just know that if you can stay grounded and hold space, that in itself can be healing today. And leading by example, showing people by the actions you're taking, like, oh, I don't have to react this way. I can talk about these difficult, wounded things without letting it overtake my emotions, So don't be afraid to be the example, and don't be afraid to share what's on your heart, even if it feels a little scary or intimidating, or like maybe it's a little too much. It's not. You're not too much. Oh, Rachel, I started talking to myself in the mirror today, saying affirmations. It was really hard, but felt right. Follow that intuition. Venus conjunct Lilith. You are seeing your own power in the mirror. You are realizing your own desires as you're looking into your own eyes. Mirror work is such a powerful practice, and it can feel really silly at first when you're like looking at yourself and saying affirmations. One of the most powerful things, especially as women, and something if you're wanting to lean into this energy of Venus conjunct Lilith, look into your own eyes in the mirror, especially the women watching, but anybody watching. This is your homework if it feels right for you. It's going to feel weird if you've never done it before, but look at yourself in the mirror and say, you are beautiful. Like, tell yourself you are beautiful, and then see how that lands. see how that feels. It can be really uncomfortable, but it can also be really powerful. And really just sit there and look at yourself, because wow, you are beautiful. Like, you are this healthy, vibrant, beautiful being, so capable of all the things, all of your desires, everything you want to create. And so often we get stuck in the wrinkles, and I don't like my nose or my ears or my butt or my arms or whatever it is. But just witnessing yourself and the perfection you are right now is so beautiful. I'm so grateful you shared that, Rachel. That, again, another realization that Rachel's having, something she shared that is on her heart that could be really healing for someone else. Been so vulnerable talking with those closest to me today. Beautiful. And that's what's meant to happen. Lots of Mercury activation, lots of powerful conversations with Mercury in Leo, lots of bold conversations. The communication you're having today could even feel like it's going from like, wow, this is dramatic and bold, to like, oh, wow, this is healing. And it could feel like it's kind of coming in waves, and that's okay. This is, again, the point in the moon cycle where we surrender, we release, we let go. And sometimes that just means letting go of expectations, letting go of what other people think about us, and just letting things unfold as they're supposed to. Bailey says, I love mirror work, haven't done it a ton, but Jackie had me do it in the past and some other mentors as well. And like you said, at first it feels silly, but then you feel empowered, confident, standing proud in that mirror. Love it. Thanks for the reminder. Thank you for the reminder, Bailey. I haven't done it in a long time as well. And sometimes I just surprise myself, and it doesn't have to be a whole process. Sometimes I'm just, brushing my teeth at the end of the day, and I'm like, wow, you're beautiful. Like, look at you. How often do we just take a moment to really look into our own eyes? Because the eyes are the gateway to the soul. So you're not looking at your face. You're not looking at your physical appearance. You are looking at your own soul when you gaze into your own eyes. And what's more beautiful than seeing yourself as you truly are? All the love. Feeling like I'm going to keep speaking my pure intention, lots of listening, taking the blame like a leader. Oh, I love that you said that. And channeled of transforming energy because it's mine too. And that's another, when we're talking about mirror work, conversations with other people, they are your mirror too. And being able to see someone in their darkest emotions and being like, wow, I've felt that way, or you are me. Like, I know how that feels. And being able to hold that space without reacting. Wow, for me at least, that's some of the hardest work I've had to learn in my life, and I'm still learning in my life, but we can be a mirror for other people too, which is really amazing. Hi, Alex. Thanks for being here. Gotta work on my mirror game, don't we all? Feels awkward, but so powerful. Baby steps, Rose, baby steps. Start with one moment today where you just take the intention to look into your own eyes, even if you're not saying anything out loud. Maybe just speak to yourself in kind words in your head, because it feels really silly, especially if you're not alone. You have a house full of people, you're like in your bathroom, like, oh, you're beautiful, but it's so important, so important. And I love that you are all open to it, even because I have suggested this to people before and they're like, yeah, no, I can't do that. That's a no from me, So the fact that you're all open to it is incredible. And I'm so proud of you all. Let's talk about the Cancer moon. Speaking of all this emotion that's coming up for us, the moon in its final phase in Cancer is kind of bringing up those last emotions that maybe we haven't worked through yet in this cycle. Really tapping us into our truest emotions, those sensitive things that lie beneath our hard crab shell. Those could come up today under this waning crescent moon. So the moon is currently at 23 degrees, hasn't made any connections yet this morning. Overnight at midnight, as we spoke about yesterday, the moon formed a sextile to Uranus and the North Node. So you might have even felt late last night like a surge of excitement or energy, or like just looking forward to the future and what's to come. Even if right now feels a little sticky, the future does feel a bit exciting, maybe unexpected, like what the heck is going to come next, but that can be exciting in itself, right? Today, though, we're talking about the moon connecting with Neptune and Pluto. So let's start with Neptune, start with the easier transit to talk about, and then we'll talk about the opposition to Pluto. This afternoon, 2 p.m., the moon forms a harmonious trine to Neptune when it hits that 25-degree mark in Cancer. And because both the moon and Neptune are both in water signs, pay attention to your intuition this afternoon. Pay attention to anything that just seems to come through that you're like, where did that come from? It's coming through for a reason. The moon harmonizing with Neptune can have a few different effects, especially depending on where water signs hit in our chart. But creativity, empathy, compassion can really help us when we're having these difficult conversations and difficult realizations. Having compassion for ourselves, doing the mirror work with the moon harmonizing with Neptune can really help you tap into empathy for yourself and just that softer side, you know, that a little bit woo-woo ethereal side. Maybe you're able to more clearly see your actual soul when you're looking in the mirror when the moon is harmonizing with Neptune. But even if you're not doing mirror work, when the moon and Neptune connect in this flowing angle, and remember, Neptune is retrograde too, so we can actually see things more clearly when Neptune is retrograde. The fog, it's like we can cut through the fog more easily. You might feel especially loving, especially creative, artistic endeavors when the moon and Neptune harmonize in water signs. Doing something artistic or creative can feel extremely cathartic and like a big release under this waning crescent moon. Now, a byproduct of this energy, though, is feeling tired, of course, because Neptune is the planet of dreams. So you might feel the need for a mid-afternoon nap. Listen to your body. The moon's in Cancer. Listen to your body. What are your true desires? If you're craving rest, it doesn't mean you have to be done being productive for the day, but set a timer on your phone for, you know, I like to do an angel number, so like 22 minutes, 44 minutes. That's just me being me. But, you know, just set a timer, give yourself some rest, give yourself a break. You might even be surprised in a short cat nap what realizations or dreams come through. Sometimes I have the most vivid dreams in those short naps because it's like I'm not fully shutting off. Like I've had some weird, like feels like I'm bringing through spirits or other things when I'm in between that sleep state and waking state. Not when I'm trying, but with all the energy with Mercury today and we're in this final phase, you might be surprised what comes through if you let your active mind rest and just kind of go into more of a subconscious state. And pay attention to what comes up if you decide to take a nap, or even if you're doing art and you're doing something creative. A lot of times when I'm in an art project or being creative, especially when it's like painting or drawing, and let me know if you experience this, but sometimes it feels like my eyes just kind of blur and I'm like somewhere else while the art is happening. That is, again, kind of tapping into that subconscious state, and you might be surprised what comes through. If you have the spaciousness and the time today, get out some paints, get out a marker, and just like let your creativity lead the way through emotions. That's a great way of release as well. What are y'all saying? I talk to myself all the time. That's so sweet. I love that. I mean, I talk to myself like around the house, talking to myself in the mirror, not as much, but I've been doing it more lately. And the more you do it, the easier it gets, right? Yeah, Bailey, there were times I didn't want to look at myself, usually because I couldn't believe I was where I was in that time. Oof, I have been there. Sometimes it's not even about how we feel about our body. It's like looking at yourself and being like, have I really gotten myself into this mess? Is this really how things are right now? But yeah, another thing to look at, right? It always brings awareness. Mirrors are portals. Mirrors can be portals. I actually just saw, I forget her name, but she's like she has a witchy shop on TikTok, Instagram, you know, she does all the things. And she was talking about closing the portal of your mirror because things can come through. So a mirror, you know, I mean, ancient mystics worked with mirrors as tools. I even watched that docu-series about Tyler Henry, the medium, and he has this dark room he goes into where there's just a mirror and it's complete darkness, and he stares into the mirror and things can come through. So yeah, mirrors are portals and they can help us see into other realms or deeper states of consciousness. And It might not just be surface level loving yourself in this, vessel. It might be loving yourself on a soul level. I feel better. Everyone's feeling good in the comments. I'm already ready for a nap. Good, good. Give yourself what you need today. Speaking of Neptune, I was daydreaming this morning. That is a byproduct of Mercury trine Neptune, or excuse me, the moon trine Neptune too, daydreaming. Went back to sleep hoping to pick up in the dream where I left off, something I'm working on, but to my surprise, the dream restarted. Ooh, juicy, like a recurring dream, but repeating back to back. I've never experienced this. I used to do this more as a kid, like on Saturday mornings. I would sleep in and I would like keep going back into the dream. But that's really cool. Work with that. See where it takes you. I wish I was more in control of my dreams. There's lots of ways to work on that and lots of guides that can help you do that. But just intuitively, I would say whatever the beginning of that dream was or whatever the journey of that dream was is maybe something you're repeating in your waking life, and starting over is showing you like a pattern that keeps playing out potentially. I don't know what the dream was about, but just a thought. Someone on Instagram says, may I ask something? Absolutely. And Joey says, join me on YouTube if you want to ask. I can see your comments much more easily on YouTube. Just search The Spiritual Journalist, and we're live right now. So cool, Diane. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, now let's talk about the most tense transit of the day. We save the most tense for last, right? The moon is opposing Pluto at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So once the moon gets to 27 degrees in Cancer, it forms that direct opposition to Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto is also retrograde, so we've really been reviewing our structures, our foundations since Pluto went retrograde. This is a long retrograde. It's not necessarily going to be something that just snaps into place. It's a long, slow review of what's being transformed, what's dying in order to be reborn. And I love that this is happening. This is the final connection the Cancer moon makes before the new moon in Leo. And it's really asking us individually, again, talking about mirrors, we're going to come back to this again. And opposition to me does feel a lot like a mirror. The moon in Cancer representing our emotions, our body. We're staring directly into Pluto and Capricorn. What structures, what stability is crumbling in our life in order to make way for something new, in order to allow us to be reborn. So it could feel like things are falling apart, but we're getting a clear view under this opposition between the moon and Pluto of what is falling apart. What is making way for something new? Maybe it's just emotions surfacing that are getting out of our system so we can clear space for new things. It can feel intense. An opposition is like a make or break energy, so we can face it head on. We can look directly into that mirror, or we can have a face off with it. And as we're seeing things clearly, we're like, oh, I don't want to see that. And it can feel really aggressive, like, no, thank you. So there is probably going to be a moment of clarity at some point today, maybe later tonight, where your true emotions are revealed to you about what's being transformed. And that can feel intense. And as that's happening, Pluto's known for manipulation, power struggles, control, compulsiveness. So be careful if you're feeling uncomfortable not to try to control someone else, and be aware that might be, you might be on the other end of that. Just try to stay grounded, try to stay in your own body, in your own emotions, hold space for other people. You don't have to play into power struggles. You're welcome to take space. There's lots of tools out there, to take. But if you feel like you're getting wrapped up in a really heated situation that you can tell isn't going anywhere productive, maybe just taking a couple minutes to take a breather and see the situation more clearly, see your emotions more clearly in that moment so things don't blow up or explode. Hey, thanks for joining us on YouTube. Do you have a word on Neptune transit on your Mars square? So Neptune is squaring your Mars. Already had Neptune squaring your moon. Now I'm trying to work this out. My Mars is in Gemini. Neptune is transiting in your 12th house. Well, Neptune transiting in your 12th house in general. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to messages you're receiving from the other side. You're definitely more sensitive to energy coming through other realms. if it's squaring your Mars, whatever is coming through is trying to activate you and trying to get you to move and do something. I would imagine Mars is in your fourth house then. So maybe it's something in your physical, and that's just a guess. I'm not looking at your chart. Oh no, Mars is in Gemini in your third house. So it's maybe something you need to learn. And this square between Neptune and Mars is like, hey, learn it, do it, let's go. You need to take action on this thing that your subconscious is trying to get you to learn. That's what I would guess. But really pay attention to like the subtleties, what's coming through. Even if you're getting like repeated numbers or messages, look into the meaning of that. Mars in the third house wants you to take action on the information that's coming in right now. Oh, thank you for this moment. Thank you for joining us. My moon and midheaven in Cancer with Neptune as bottom of the water kite. I've been meaning to get back to your email too. I've been thinking a lot about this, but I need to pull back up your chart. Neptune as the bottom of your water kite. I got to look at your chart and I'll email you back. But I love that you're playing into this. And the edges of that water kite, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word, but I will get back to you. And just know that the points that are opposing each other are these focal points of that water kite. So I think Neptune is one of those points, like you said at the bottom. Your intuition, your sensitivities, your spirituality are definitely playing a pivotal role in everything else going on in your chart. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that resonated. Sounds like a day I should hide out. I felt pulled to do a power struggle earlier with someone I'm very close with. I'm bad at drawing boundaries, how to tell them nicely that we need to take a beat in the convo to prevent a blow up in cases like this. The person has some strong Leo placements. Of course they do. And I think they were being triggered today particularly. Yeah, you know, that'll happen, but good for you, just honoring what you need. And sometimes those actions of like, hey, I need to honor what I need right now can be really powerful and really healing, even if they're uncomfortable in the moment, or the other person feels like, no, I don't want you to leave. I don't want you to take that beat. Like I've been on both sides of that, you know, so I'm usually the one that's like, we can't take a break. We got to keep going, you know, so good for you for having that awareness. Ooh, you're psychic. Interesting. Well, pay attention then. You definitely are aware of what's coming through. What are those messages telling you that you need to learn? Maybe they're pointing you to new information that you're supposed to take action on. Bailey says, mirror work, or no, Jackie says, mirror work is my jam. I love you, Bay. So glad it resonated with you. See how many people have had such transcendental experiences with it. The mirror does kind of feel like Neptune in a way. You know, it's like you're seeing through realms. Like Jackie said, a transcendental experience can happen when you do mirror work. And no rush. You're always divinely on time. Thank you for sharing the beautiful words, Jackie. So yes, those are the transits today. A lot of power, a lot of intensity. Those powerful conversations, even intense conversations could come up, but there's definitely an element of healing and intuitive awareness and messages coming through. And it's all kind of happening at the same time. So coming back to your true desires, your true feelings, what's transforming, what's being released, what are you surrendering to right now, and really coming back into your own body. So under tomorrow's new moon in Leo, you can be attuned to your own heart, to your own emotions, to your own feelings, and set intentions from a more aligned place. And I think a lot of the intentions we'll be setting under the Leo moon, this is just a guess because I don't know you all in your lives, but a lot of times when we talk about intentions and manifestation, it's like the job or, you know, the love or whatever that we're trying to manifest. I really feel like just the current state we're all in, a lot of what we're going to be setting intentions around will be deeper things, bigger things, more, I don't want to say important, but like profound intentions that we'll be setting under this new moon in Leo. And remember, the Lionsgate portal is now open. We're heading towards the peak of it on August 8th. there's a lot of powerful energy to work with, a lot of light codes we're downloading, realizations we're having. It could feel like the entire trajectory of your life is changing in the next week because, again, we have Mars conjunct Uranus conjunct the North Node. Big shifts, big changes, big actions, big moves that are being taken. And taking this final moment of the dark moon to really get intimate with yourself and your emotions is only going to help you move through those changes in a more aligned and grounded way. I love how just all the love today, all the love in the comments makes me so freaking happy. Let's come back to today's affirmation. I acknowledge my power. This felt like an overarching affirmation we can return to. If we're feeling heated, we acknowledge our power. We can come back and reclaim our power we have on other people, our power to remain grounded, but also, our power to be sovereign. Venus is conjunct Lilith in Cancer, right? We are very aware of our bodily sovereignty today, our bodily power. You have the power to make yourself feel pleasure. You have the power to make yourself feel pain. You have the power to make other people feel amazing. You have the power to hold space for them. So acknowledging your power in every way possible today. If things feel like they're out of control, remember, you have control of your breath, you have control of this moment, and you have control of your reactions, even if you can't control what anybody else around you is doing. And the power to have some grace too. Thank you, Nick. Yes, the power to be gentle with ourselves. It's not just about the forcefulness and power, it's about our sovereignty, our power over ourselves. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I want to pull from the spirit animal deck today. I don't know why, I just do. So we're going to see what animal message needs to come through for us. And you know the drill. If you have any questions, you can ask them now. Joey on Instagram says he looks forward to this live every week now. Thanks for being here. Rachel says, really needed that affirmation today. I'm so glad it resonated for you, and it's what you needed to hear. You are powerful. You are so powerful. And, maybe that's an affirmation if you're looking into doing some mirror work. When you look into your own soul, when you look into your own eyes, you see your power clearly. I mean, you see just this energy within you. Mirror work is so cool. Now I'm just inspired. I'm going to go stare at myself in the mirror after this. And it's interesting in our society too. Like, we think of people who look at themselves in the mirror and say, I'm beautiful, as like vain or judgmental. It's this idea we have that people who know that they're beautiful are shallow or something. And it's like, no, we need more people in the world who know how beautiful and powerful and wonderful they are and can share their light because they are so confident in themselves. Because the more you see your own beauty, the more you can see beauty in others. Love today's affirmation. Seems like a lot of us need to acknowledge the power we have when we set boundaries. Yes, you have the power to set boundaries. You have the power to make choices for yourself. And setting a boundary doesn't mean leaving people in the dust and being like, I'm not talking about this and avoiding it, but it's just knowing your own energy and being like, hey, can we discuss this later? Or can we come back to this when we're less heated, just knowing yourself and knowing, hey, I might not be able to react in the best possible way right now. I need to set a boundary. Sure, you're welcome to ask another question. All I did was cry in the mirror. I think I'm sensitive to the Cancer moon or the water moons in general, but you know what? That's what needed to happen. And I don't know, this might seem kind of crazy, but I think it's like really beautiful watching myself cry. I don't know why, but you're just seeing like the release and the emotion and witnessing it and observing it. And that is beautiful. It's beautiful witnessing yourself releasing those emotions. Thanks, Olivia. I'm enjoying feeling so attuned with all above and around our planet. Definitely the Neptune placement in that water kite for sure. Like being attuned to all. Yes. I see that for you. I see that in you for sure. Like you are very aware of what's going on in the ethers. Okay, let's pull a card. Let's do it. I think I shuffled these plenty. One more shuffle. Okay, breathe in. What do we need to know? Dog spirit. Well, I'm biased, but I love this card. Card number 19, dog spirit. Be loyal to what you love. I love how it talks about being loyal to what you love, really tuning in to what's important to you. What do you love? What are your desires? Being loyal to yourself. Hopefully you love yourself. Okay, here's what it says. Dog spirit appears to remind you that although change is a part of life and all of us are meant to evolve, our love and our commitments remain strong. You are loved now, and you can trust that this higher love is true. Spirit loves you, and love has arrived in many forms now, manifesting in the people you surround yourself with, expressed uniquely through them. Dog spirit also says, be true to that which you love. For now is a time of good fortune. Be steady as you recognize that people and things are always transforming. Your heart is loving and true, and dog spirit wants you to know that your steadfast commitment to experiencing and expressing love will attract and manifest more love. You deserve all of it. Have faith in spirit's plan for you. What a beautiful way to end our episode today. What a beautiful message. And as I was reading that, I just could picture, dogs love us no matter what. It's that unconditional love. They love us when we're crying. They love us when we're ugly. They love us when we're angry, when we're nasty, when when we love them right back, when we're exhausted, when we're energized. Dogs, to me, are just the purest form of unconditional love in so many ways. And I think dog spirit is here to remind us that we can be that for other people too, and for ourselves. And we all have that higher form of love within us. We're all God, we're all spirit. We're all part of the universe. And I think dogs are just special beings here to show us what unconditional love really looks and feels like, so we can embody more of it. Now I'm just going to go hang out with my dogs because that just made me so happy. Gardening and mad animals are visiting at the moment. Yeah, they're coming to you. They're coming to bring you messages. They can probably sense that you're open to those messages. I found I have the tendency to cry in the tub or shower, like being in water releases the emotion for me. That's awesome. And water heightens our intuition. It's that water energy. So especially look at what planets are in water signs in your chart. Water could be activating those placements. As a child, I would stare at myself cry, and now I appreciate myself being able to release those feelings. Shower cries are the best. Be loyal to yourself. Thank you for sharing, Bree. Yeah, shower cries are just especially cathartic. It's like the water's washing over you, the water's coming out of you, you're one with the water. And I would do that as a kid too. I would definitely watch myself cry in the mirror. I would love to hear like a psychologist's perspective on why we watch ourselves cry. Could be a cool topic to explore. Because if we were to acknowledge that someone else knowing how beautiful they are is totally awesome, then the more we would have to acknowledge for those of us unhealed with triggers that we don't actually think that about ourselves. Yes. Yeah. If you're like, oh, that person's so vain, it's usually envy coming out like, oh, I wish I could be that confident, right? Highlighting our traumas. That's why society makes it seem like it's not acceptable to talk like that about ourselves. So let's change that paradigm and normalize knowing we are awesome out loud. You are beautiful. I am beautiful. I love your Leo rising coming out, hyping us all up. Yes, Jackie. Dogs are the best. The best card. Yeah. I love my babies too. Just going to go lean into that unconditional love. And just to tie it all together, just something weird. Do you guys ever, I have small dogs so I can do this. I sometimes pick up my dog in the mirror and be like, that's you. Do you see yourself? Do you see how beautiful you are? I make her do mirror work too, and she knows it. She knows she's beautiful. She's all about mirrors. Cry like a man as hard as you can. Crying man, Rembrandt Brown on the four spinning tops. I'm assuming this is a song we need to listen to. Loving these song recommendations. Oh, when raccoons visit, like at the moment, I tear up and miss my dog. It's probably your dog sending those raccoons to say hi to you. especially if you're immediately thinking of your dog. It's probably your dog being like, hey, Mom, I'm here. I'm still hanging out with you. I just want to send a little critter friend to remind you. My mom's dog. I think that's the one you sent me a picture of, right? I think you sent me a picture of your mom's dog. That just made my whole day. I loved it so much. I do that with my cat. I think she's feeling that Venus Lilith energy because all she wants is pets right now. Yeah, she's like, love me, give me pleasure, please. I need it right now. She always looks annoyed. That's funny. All right, everybody. The dog spirit has us all talking, leaning into the love. What a beautiful, even just talking about dogs. Can you feel the energy shift? Can you feel how happy you are and how loyal you are to yourself and the joy within you and the unconditional love you have for yourself and for your animals? I love that we ended with dog spirit. Loyalty through unconditional love. I love it. Mauricio, send me an email or a message and I'll talk to you about this offline because we're chatting for a long time today. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thanks for being here, Rose. I'm so grateful you showed up for yourself today. I'm so grateful you show up for this community. Whenever I'm able to stream live, you guys are my day ones. You're so loyal and you remind me of the loyalty of dog spirit every day. So I love you all. I hope you give yourself grace today, process what's ever coming up in a healthy way. And we have an exciting day to talk about tomorrow with the Leo new moon, ways we can set intentions, tune into our heart space, and what this new moon means for you in your chart. So I will see you right back here tomorrow morning. Yes. Tears are shedding, tears, art, expression, vital parts of growth. Feel it all, Fern, and we are here for you. And I think your spirit puppy is too. Have a nice day, Nick. I love you all. I will see you tomorrow morning. Until I see you next, until the new moon, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.